Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United at the GM Vauxhall Conference have put our First Division Coventry City winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this.
But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast in association with Lucky Star Gin. I'm your host, Mike. As always, if you're a regular listener, thank you for coming back. I say it every week and I want you to know I genuinely mean it. I really, really do appreciate those who listen. If you're a new listener, hopefully I'll get to appreciate you soon, but you're welcome as well. But hopefully I'll get to say I really appreciate you as well. I'm Mike, as I said, and with me today I have Andrew making a return and we have Finlay making a debut. We're going to come back and talk to him in a minute.
Yeah.
We love hearing from you. Join the conversations. Stay connected with Sutton Podcast. Share the @Sutton Podcast on all social medias. I'm not sure how much longer we'll last on Twitter, I'll be honest, but hey, we'll keep going. It's a lovely place. And a big shout out to everyone who shares and retweets or reshares or all the other bits and pieces. Thank you. You really, really do help us on the podcast. So firstly, we'll do some introductions and whatnot, but we'll start with you, Andrew. Hello, how are you? Loving all the little pictures, little and growing up.
Thank you.
How's it going?
Yeah, I'm well, thanks. I've just caught my breath back from yesterday's game. Absolutely breathless it was. My first game for a little while, actually. Went to a few of the early games in August, early September. But yeah, I haven't been to the last couple before yesterday. But yeah, not too bad.
Yesterday, I got a message at 14:57, and it says that equaliser changed the complexion of tomorrow's podcast ever so slightly.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that still. Yeah, I'm obviously not as down as I was around the 85th minute mark.
Yeah, absolutely.
When it looked like looked like we were going out.
Yeah, absolutely. And Finlay, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I think Andrew took the words right out of my mouth. I'm still just trying to calm down from yesterday. And I think I was preparing to do this podcast with a defeat, but then Jaden Harris completely changed the narrative, which is no bad thing.
Absolutely. But your first time on, people
Yep.
may have heard your voice before, but tell us a little bit about yourself, how your connection with Sutton United is, and why people may have know the voice, not necessarily the face.
Well, hello, I'm Finlay, 17 years old, and I've just joined the Sutton family, the Sutton commentary team, since the start of the season. Kind of my dream profession in the future. So I had some work experience in the summer at Sutton United. Jimmy Dack, who Mike I know you know quite well, done some podcasts with. He outside of management, he also does kind of airport runs. So one day at 5 o'clock in the morning, as you're stuck in traffic on the M25, and he turns around and says, "Finlay, what would you like to do in the future?" And I said, "Oh, football commentator's the dream." He turns around and says, "Oh yeah, I work at Sutton. Come and get some work experience." So that was great. It was a great week. Was with the first team, the academy. I was invited down to do some co-commentary for the Wimbledon game, which was a great introduction. 2-0 win. I think it was a Odelusi penalty and Naddison in the first half. And then from there, I've done, I think, every home game other than Tamworth. So I'm enjoying it, and it's a pleasure to be here this evening.
Yeah, you do sound a little, because the first couple of times you were on, you sound very much like Will Lawless,
Yeah.
who was on before.
Yeah,
And there was something you said, and I messaged Will about it, and then he responded back, and I was like, "Hang on, why are you responding during the match? That was for you to read at half time." And he was like, "I'm not doing the match." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
yeah, I actually had that when I was waiting for the phone call to know if I got the role. the guy said, if this was casting, we would never ever put you and Will together because you sound exactly the same.
It's really,
Yeah.
what a lovely story. I mean, to be like completely
That's awesome.
out of it, having a chat with a random stranger who then goes, well, actually, I can help you with that. And Jimmy's just a dude, isn't he?
Jimmy's great, but I think I've experienced every type of emotion so far this season. We've had the Fulham game, which we don't need to say any more on. Lost my voice about 10 or 11 times. So yeah, but no, it's been great, and just trying to rack up the hours.
Have you met and spoke to Sol yet at all?
Who?
Sol.
No, I don't think so. No.
We'll get him to talk to you.
I can put you in contact with Sol.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
I bump
He's
into him at David Lloyd Sheen
Really?
when I teach there.
Oh, you teach there? Brilliant.
Yeah, I see him every Thursday.
I've just literally gone blank with his surname.
Sahi.
Sahi, yeah. Solihil Sahi. He does loads for the BBC. He's been commentating for years and years and years, and used to do bits for us as well. So, yeah, definitely have a chat with him. He loves helping people out as well. Right, so club news. What, an hour, 2 hours ago? Not even that. Sean and the club tweeted out or put the message out on socials that he has left by mutual consent. He had put his notice in, which I did say last time out that it's very weird for a football club to have someone working notice. But he's now moved on. Sean's been on before. I want to say chats with Sean before most games, but as I was explaining just before this, one of those chats especially was like a 22-minute him talking at me. Love him though. But yeah, I've already said it to him, but thank you very much to Sean for all he's done and all his hard work. I mean, the last few weeks he's been doing fitness and conditioning, assistant manager, goalkeeping coach,
interview.
Loads. Sorry, Finlay, go on.
I was going to say, you did an interview as well, I think, after the, was it the Oval game? You stepped in and also did an interview, so...
I must admit my heart was in my mouth when I saw him out there doing that. I was like, oh God, what's he saying? But he was very good, I thought. Andrew, I know you wanted to say something on Sean as well?
Yeah, I mean, he was obviously quite a valued member of the team, wasn't he? I mean, he came in during Matt Gray's time here, I think, and then obviously stayed around when Morrison got appointed, and then yeah, that word valued. He seemed quite a valued member of the entire like first team community. So I think he'll be missed.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is a timing, not the timing of the new management. I think it's just one of those where he's gone. I can't do this anymore. There's too much going on, and he's got his whole other business as well. So I don't know. But it might be just sped up by the timing. Going, actually, yeah, I'll take this opportunity. But yeah, he's done so much, and yeah, he was he's got some nice views on what he does as well. He didn't like it when I say make them run till they vomit. He didn't like that. It's a bit more technical than that. He told me. Podcast news. I've got a lovely new green screen. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. The idea was I could just put different things behind myself, but when I tried it with the chat I did with JT and Junior and Kai, when I did it, it worked perfectly for me, but it made them disappear in patches. So I'm pretty sure I messed that up. I'll keep trying. Keeps me young, trying to learn these things. But if anyone's got any ideas, let me know.
You need a Sutton United scarf or something behind you on the wall.
That's my image. I've got an image to sort of put there, and it's going to be like looking like it's like a proper professional thing with like side graphics and everything. But yeah, ain't working. But never mind. It gives me something to concentrate on. Right, we're going to get to the match. What was your thoughts ahead of the match, Finlay? And were there any surprises in the lineup for you?
Well, I think it's always quite nice to have a break from the league, and I know it's cliche, but the magic of the FA Cup, there's always a different feel on a Saturday. And I think
morning.
Yeah, I think you're always optimistic, but I think this season, the results have been so mixed. You're not really sure what to expect. But Farnham away, obviously going in as favourites. In terms of the lineup, I think we only made 3 changes. I think it was a breath of fresh air to see Ogbonna get the nod. I think everyone around the ground has been, so keen for him to start. I think it was his first start since Woking. And, his impact throughout the season has been immense. Solihull Moors, the goal against Carlisle. I think there's still a debate whether it was the celebration or the goal that was better. But I know I couldn't execute either of them. But no, great to see Ogbonna.
The landing was awful. Even Rosie criticised the landing.
I think I'd still be on the floor trying to get up if I attempted it. But to see Ogbonna start was amazing. And yeah, I think 3 changes. I think understandably Chris wanted to kind of stick with what he knew and not change too much and just build off the draw away at Braintree.
Andrew, yourself? I mean, I did sort of question why Jack Wadham wasn't playing the other day. Turns out he was slightly injured because obviously he's got a connection with Chris and Chris clearly trusts him. But any surprises for you? What were your expectations going into the game?
Big banana skin, wasn't it? Given the form that they are on this season, they haven't lost yet any competition, so I knew it was going to be a tough game for us, given the form, I guess, that we've been on going into it. Team selection wise, when I saw the initial lineup, I thought, oh, this is quite defensive. They had like 4 or 5 centre backs listed, but he obviously had Phipps. What looked like almost like a box to box role. It was quite bizarre. But yeah, I understand why. And Joku was on the bench. He's clearly an impact player, isn't he?
Yeah.
You're probably going to ask more about that later, but slightly hamstrung with the international duty call-ups as well. Critchlow and De Silva missing, who ordinarily would have been involved, I reckon, yesterday.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Kane has been in and out with injury, and when he's fit, he then gets called up to these games as well. So it's like, okay, are we going to see much? But yeah, no. I thought this was a much trickier game than I think anyone really let on, because it's not only that they've not been beaten this season. It's been 2 and a bit years that they've just had constant success. They've been promoted twice. There's players I didn't realise. One of their players, because I was listening on the telly, and it's like he's done over 200 games in the National League. So some of their players are definitely playing steps below. As you know, Kai Tanner was with us. He went there, and he was very highly rated. So they've got good players. So perhaps it wasn't a sort of a shoe-in as everyone kind of thought it would be. But I don't know if you guys realised, but at kickoff, I was like, "Oh no, we're Sutton United. This should be what we're doing." No pennant. They had a pennant to swap, like proper traditional cup tie thing, and we didn't have one. So Aaron was kind of standing there empty-handed and had to run off and put the pennants aside. I don't know. Did you notice that at kickoff or?
I noticed Jones. He had a pennant, didn't he?
Yeah, they gave it to him.
Oh, okay. And we didn't have anything to give them.
Well, it certainly looked like we didn't have anything, because they kind of handed it over and he kind of looked around going, So yeah, I'm sure we'll make up for it on Tuesday.
Once we bumped them out in the replay, yeah.
Let's start with really obvious. Was it a game we should have won and we snatched a draw, or was it a game of they were better than us at this moment in time? Tactics or the psychological side? Andrew, over to you first.
Oh, I've seen so many comments post-match saying that Farnham deserved to win, etc. And I don't think they did. I thought it was just a classic cup tie. It was very end-to-end. It reminded me of the Hemel ties about 10 years ago, when they were absolutely flying. We went there, drew 3-3 at their place, and then got them back to us for a replay. I thought we had a lot of chances, just a bit unlucky. Simper should have scored in the first half. Taylor had one off the line second half, didn't he? Naderson had a shot saved. I thought our attacking play was brilliant. We were threatening. The other end was just very, very disappointing, which let us down yesterday. So defensively, we've got a lot of work to do. But I'd say a draw was probably a fair result, actually. on the balance of things.
I think a lot of those comments would be because obviously it's the romantic side. You're always, if Sutton's not involved, if you're watching that match, you're always going to be going remembering the chances that the lower league side have produced. You're not going to remember what Sutton would have produced. But I'm kind of with you. I'm thinking we did enough not to lose, but we very nearly did lose. If we had lost, you couldn't say you're gutted, really. And if you'd won, you would have been like, we proper got away with that. But what about yourself, Finlay? Were you commentating yesterday or were you just watching?
No, I was watching. Nearly wasn't watching because it was very stressful in our household because it was on BBC One Red Button. We went on BBC One and we were all thinking, crap, where's the game? And we were like calling everyone in our family thinking, where's the game? But we found it just in time.
It was because it was on iPlayer and it wasn't advertised as Farnham versus Sutton. It was advertised as some other game that was on later. And I'm putting this on and I'll see if I can get anywhere from here. And suddenly there I have Aggie talking to the cameras. I was like, oh, excellent.
I think I was on ChatGPT saying, oh, how do I find Sutton versus Farnham? we got there in the end. But,
the world in 2025.
I know, it's evolved so much. But yesterday, personally, I think we will be disappointed not to win. I thought Farnham defended magnificently. As Andrew mentioned, Taylor, his header looked like it was in. Great clearance off the line. Simper as well. Couldn't quite get it from under his feet quite quick enough, but by then they had 3 or 4 bodies on the line. Defensively, we weren't good enough. I think all 3 of their goals stemmed from our left-hand side. And I was quite surprised we didn't play either Vincent or Booton, which maybe played a factor. But I think yesterday, I thought the game was made for Dylan De Silva. I think because Farnham played so counter-attacking. Every time they won it back, they immediately tried to play the ball over the top. And I think with Dylan's pace, I think it would have kind of been the turning point in the game. But it's great that we're still in the hat and under the lights at Gander Green Lane. No question the fans are going to be in their numbers as Steve and Chris have praised all season. But yeah, positively going forward, I think another 5 minutes we would have won it. I think Njuki won it back, tried to put a ball in, and it was blocked. So I think we'll be disappointed not to win, but Gander Green Lane, it's going to be a good day.
Or Gander's Green Lane, as they kept calling it on the TV. Getting really irritated by that. Do you, Finlay, with you this one, do you think there was an element of underestimation, or do you think they did raise their game, or are they just better than their league position and we're slightly worse than our league position at the moment? Obviously, it's going to change. But do you think there's a level of underestimation and taking it for granted?
100%. I think, as Andrew mentioned, Farnham, I think 9 games, 5 wins, 4 draws, the furthest they've got in this competition. They've got a player that won, I think, that came second on Love Island, so they're very successful. I think when they won the league last year, they had 102 points, so absolutely dominated that division. And it's a home tie, it's kind of a derby, they're at home. So I think they were always going to be really up for it. And I think definitely there's an estimate of underestimation. You go there and expect to win, but credit to Farnham. And it kind of reminded me of playing football when I was young. You saw all the leaves at the side of the pitch. But yeah, I thought Farnham were fantastic yesterday.
And Andrew, I'm talking about everyone in the club, not just some of the players or management. I'm talking about everyone feeling that this is just kind of a gimme because they're below us. We've been on both sides where because like I said a couple of weeks ago, if it was a League One club, we're not going to be sitting there going, we've got no chance here. We're going to be like, oh, we're underdogs, but we're going to go for it. Do you think there was a certain amount of underestimation, or just they were better?
No, I put it down to confidence. I think our confidence is obviously pretty low at the moment, isn't it? Throughout the club, probably we're in a bit of a hole at the moment, aren't we? We're trying to obviously, we've appointed a new head coach. We're trying to get out of that. And obviously, like you said, this lot of 2.5 years or whatever, they've been on a very much an upward trajectory. So I don't know about underestimating them. But yeah, I do think the confidence kind of psyche big. But one thing I will say is we came back 3 times and that should be praised. As he said in his interview after the game, could have easily dropped their heads after going behind, say 2-1, 3-2, but kept on going. So I thought that should be praised.
No, absolutely. That's one ahead of where I was going to talk to, but we'll go for that now.
Sorry.
No, we'll go for that now. No, we're all going to be talking about the same thing, but we'll do that one now. So, I was a few weeks ago, I did point out to Lewis that he's got a goal for Eden's head. He got a goal on JT's head. If he could put one on Phipps's head as well, that would be lovely. That was actually on his birthday. And he's done it, but it was like 6 weeks after I suggested it. So, yeah, the goal after 80, 90 seconds was a huge setback, but we got into it. We were controlling the game. The midfield was great. I know you said we were great attacking, but some of the final third decisions did leave a little bit to be desired at some points. But the character and the fight to come back 3 times, all from very shortly after kickoffs, by the way. So where you said, if it was 5 more minutes to go, I'm like, maybe not, because we did keep conceding 5 minutes after kickoff. But do you feel that the team needs that credit, or do you think this late comeback is just papering over some cracks? Will it build our confidence, Andrew?
I think use the
3 goals away. No matter which way you look at it, who we're playing, 3 goals away cannot be sniffed at ever.
Yeah, so they should use the 90+8 goal as a turning point of the season. I saw that comment yesterday by someone, so I've nicked that. As I said, I think we got what we deserved. I think a draw was a fair result on the balance of it. So, yeah.
Yep, fair enough. Finlay, yourself?
Well, just a statistic, it was the first time we've scored 3 goals away from home since Barnet in, I think, December 2024, when they got that 99th minute equaliser. So, honestly, I think the character, definitely, Mike, as you said, should be praised. I do think that coming back 3 times could be a turning point in the season from a confidence perspective. And I think they said it on commentary. We responded quickly, which was really important, because every minute that Farnham kind of stayed in the lead, their confidence, their belief would go up, and our gameplay would obviously become a little bit more rushed and panicked every minute we hadn't found the net. So coming back 3 times, the togetherness, the spirit that's shown all season. You know, when Boreham Wood went 4-2 up, Pruti decided to launch one from pretty much the halfway line, and we're back in it again. Brighton, Addison got one back. You know, we've been staying in games right till the end, and we've kept going. So, yeah, I was really impressed with the spirit that we showed yesterday.
Okay, well, Andrew mentioned it earlier, so we'll come back to Andrew in a second with this one. But Harry Phipps in midfield. What did you think? I mean, there were times, and I think you were listening on comms as well, where they even mentioned that Phipps is kind of coming back to take the ball from the centre halves and doing what they should be doing with it, just pinging it forward. Did you feel that watching it yourself, or were you like, this is a good idea, get him to screen that defence a bit more?
You know what? I'm glad I wasn't on commentary, because I'd be having a headache trying to work out where he was playing. But I think putting him in the middle of the park, I think fits with Chris's ethos of wanting to attack and getting players up the pitch. And he did look quite comfortable in the middle. You know, he picked the ball up and was playing it forward. He obviously had that nervy moment in the second half where he gave it away, and David was a fantastic save, who I think another player who definitely should be praised. But no, he looked quite comfortable. Yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting Phipps to be placed there, but he got a goal, so he didn't do too bad.
Yeah, especially after injury. What about yourself, Andrew? Was it, especially you're there, you don't kind of have to see the bigger picture that we're able to see on TV. Were you trying to work out where he was playing, or did it come clear very quick he was in midfield?
We couldn't work it out. It was just here, there, and everywhere. He found himself up in the other team's penalty area. Initially, it looked like he was screening the defence like Barbrook was last season, but yeah, he was just all over all over the pitch, not all over the place, all over the pitch, all action. So yeah, I mean, it was an interesting tactic. Once we settled down in the first half, we did have like a lot of control of the possession. And then second half, they obviously upped it a little on us. So yeah, let's see what he does Tuesday.
Well, yeah, tactically, I mean, it was the three at the back, it seemed. Obviously, I don't know what I'm talking about. If Chris or any of the others are listening, I genuinely don't know what I'm talking about. But it seemed like it was the three at the back. And then on the right, we had Jones in a more sort of wing-backy position, but then David on the left in a winger position. So that's potentially why we had that space down the left, is because we didn't have anyone to hold. And if we had Liam or Noah on, we potentially wouldn't have had space for David. So it's that thing of, are we attacking, are we defending? Is do we need to pick one or the other and go for it? But Brandon, I promised you we'd talk about Brandon. Andrew, you can go first. Off the bench impact. Talk us through it.
Well, we needed something up top. Sadly, Ashley probably didn't have one of his great games for us yesterday. But yeah, I firmly think they view Njoku as an impact player from the bench to create carnage when the defence is tired. And boy, did he do that! Great, his goal was brilliantly taken. The goals 2 and 3 are just great team moves to watch. And then obviously his work for the Harris equaliser. So delighted for him. He looks a real find this season from the games that I've been to. And yeah, we need him Tuesday for sure.
Finlay, what do you think about his impact? I've got some more questions on him, but tell us what you thought about his impact yesterday.
Just brilliant. I think Nick said it on the podcast about when we start in Njoku and Maddison, we haven't necessarily got that number 9 to come off the bench. So it was good, as you said, an impact player. Fresh legs, came on, great energy. And it was nice to see him score a goal and obviously get an assist, because when I've been on commentary, he's had so many chances and I've been falling on the floor just thinking, just put it in the net. So it was good to see him score. And as Andrew said, he's got to start Tuesday. Brilliant.
Well, this was going to be it. Is it a case of he needs to start, or is it a case of actually coming on? He has much, much more of an impact. Because there's been games where he started and he hasn't had quite the same impact. Is it he's good against the tired legs, or would you keep Nadders to come on against tired legs because he can run, especially if people are tired? So Finlay, what do you think? Definitely he's got to start, or would you kind of go, actually, let's just bring him on as an impact for a little while?
It's difficult because with Farnham being 2 divisions and their fitness level is not going to be as sustained as Sutton's, you kind of think that potentially bringing him on with maybe 25, half an hour to play with tight legs, he could run them riot. He definitely deserves a start with his form. I'd probably give him the nod just because he's going to be, high in confidence. But you never know. Knowing what Chris did with Phipps, it might be Phipps starting up front on Tuesday. So we never know.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew, same question, but added, as a player, would you have that kind of opinion of, well, what else do I need to do to start? Or would you be sitting there going, no, I understand what they're wanting from me, because you run the risk of a player getting demotivated if they're staying on the bench and only coming on some impact for a few minutes. But what about you? What would you do? Would you start him, or would you tell him that, no, I need you to come on for that last sort of 25, 30?
I think it could be either or on Tuesday. I think psychologically, I don't know, Farnham, they might be a bit demoralised from conceding so late. So yeah, that's why I say, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be averse to starting him or Nadders, because I do think we will get the job done on Tuesday. I'd be tempted to start him.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd give him a go. Going back to your point, you're saying he would be aware of his role, surely, like from Chris and the coaching team, saying, look, you're definitely going to get on, you're going to get some action. So yeah, I'd like to think he wouldn't be demotivated.
Yeah, I obviously short term, but I'm thinking long term. I'm not talking about Brandon specifically. I'm just talking about as in general as a player. Is
Yeah.
it difficult to be like going, well, I can't remember, is it Milton Keynes that call them finishers, not subs? They call them finishers. They call them game finishers or
Right.
game changers or something rather than subs, because they've got the plan and they build it into the full squad. But it must be, if you're sitting there and you've come off and you go, yeah, I've just done an assist and a goal. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm on the bench. It must have a little bit of. Well, I'll probably get called from Nadders now telling me that no, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. Leave me alone.
It's a team game, Mike. It's a
Yeah,
team
exactly.
game.
Yeah, that's not what strikers do. I'm sorry, strikers never think it's a team game. So post match, now Steve got fairly rightly criticised for one of his comments post match, saying players need to man up and take responsibility. Did Chris kind of say the same thing, but in a softer way, by saying their confidence is shot? We need them to get over this. We need them to take some. You didn't quite say responsibility, but do you agree with the not calling out, but making a big point of saying their confidence is gone? We need this confidence to be built up.
I think, like you said, Mike, I think Chris definitely said it in a softer tone to maybe how Steve would portray it. And I think Chris definitely, praised the team for their spirit, as we've mentioned. And I think he said, that they're a new group of coaching staff coming into the situation where they're going to be highly motivated, but understandably the players are going to be pretty down with the season. But I think Chris definitely he spoke about the positives, which really is what the players need for them to keep going.
Yeah, Andrew.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier about the confidence thing at the club. Season hasn't gone how anyone probably expected it to, so just need that win, I think, Tuesday, hopefully, to get us going.
It's not gone that way yet. The table's going to look amazing when we start shooting up that table.
A lot of the season's still to play yet.
Yeah, when we win the title, that graph is going to look amazing.
Wow.
It's all that confidence switch. Also, just very, very quickly, I did message something to Aaron, who does the interviews, but the difference in those interview styles, Andrew, basically I messaged Aaron going, Christ almighty, you're doing podcasts now, because the pre-match was 12 minutes and something long. What are you feeling about this difference? Because it's just a personality thing, I know, but do you feel it's positive, or it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever?
No, I think it does make a difference. I used to love a lot of these interviews when he did them, because they were just so varied. And then obviously Matt had his way of being interviewed, and then Steve. But yeah, I enjoyed the 12 minutes that Chris spoke on the preview. Insight on the situation and his views on the match, team news. I enjoyed listening to him. Yeah, admittedly, I didn't know much about him before he got appointed as head coach. So, I'm enjoying listening to what he's got to say and his views.
And Finlay, what about yourself?
I agree. I think Chris, he's a really nice guy to listen to, and you can see the passion and the energy that he has, which I think will definitely rub off in the dressing room. So I think with Steve, especially towards the latter stages of his career, I think the enthusiasm, the energy in his voice was starting to decrease, which can easily rub off on the rest of the team. So Chris, great energy, and really enjoyed listening to him. I'm looking forward to Tuesday, but not in the manager meet the manager.
No, well, it could be like literally 10 minutes. Hello everyone, goodbye.
Well, it depends how the game goes. You never know. Might squeeze 20 minutes at the full-time whistle.
And what about Dean Hammond joining as assistant manager? I mean, it was something that was possibly obvious in hindsight, but what do you feel he's going to bring with his experience? Because we've obviously lost Steve with his Premier League experience, and now we've got someone else with also Premier League experience. Finlay.
Well, I think John's obviously discussing that John's obviously left because I think his energy was second to none. But with Dean, as you said, Mike, you'd expect him coming in as number two, and he's has so many good experiences. So I think he's gonna definitely bring the knowledge and the support for Chris, and I think they're gonna make a good team.
Andrew?
Yeah, I think Chris speaks very highly of him, doesn't he, Dean? He's got a good track record being a player at Brighton and then at Colchester. And I'm not sure if Dean was with him at Hastings, was he? Certainly at Worthing.
Yeah, he was at Worthing.
He
did say
was.
it, I can't remember where they joined. But it makes a difference. It must make a difference of having people because Steve was quite dismissive of the idea. But when Anthony left at the end of last season, and I sort of said, "Oh, is that going to have any kind of influence on you?" Because obviously, knowing someone's going to pick up some of these jobs without you having to think about it, it must make a difference. Steve said no, but he would do. It was a stupid question in hindsight. But it must make a big difference knowing that certain things are covered and you don't even need to have brain capacity for it, especially if you've got your own little team around you. And again, you wonder then who's going to be the next part of it: goalkeeping coach, fitness coach, and so on.
Well, he's got people that he trusts, obviously on board, which is huge, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely,
it's got to be massive.
So replay, I have made a lot of positive on it. I mean, it's a perfect game plan. We get more money, hopefully for TV. We get the gate money. We get another game. We're in the hat. Could it be a distraction for the Hartlepool match, or they're used to playing Saturday, Tuesday now? How do you feel about the replay? And possibly, I don't know if they're going to pick it for TV. They often will do, especially if they've shown it before. But what do you think, Andrew?
We'd have had a blank week training, wouldn't we? Again, to instill his ideas further. So that's gone. But you obviously would have wanted the extra game at the 90th minute mark yesterday, given it. So no, I think we've got to embrace it and absolutely go for it. Yeah, we would have known the draw, which gets made on Monday night. So possible opponents for round one, which will act as extra motivation potentially, depending on who the draw is.
Yeah, that's what I was going to just say. I've come to you in Finlay with your ideas in a second, but I was going to say, I know it does affect me, but do you reckon that affects the players? They go, oh, we've got blah blah blah. It's like we played them a couple of weeks ago. Who cares? Or do you think, oh, that's a tasty one? We'll like that. I think we're going to get Chatham, by the way, because Tope scored and put Chatham through.
Oh yeah, you did see that.
Yeah, but Finlay, what do you reckon? Is it good with the extra money, the extra game, or is it a distraction now?
I think the first positive is that Hartlepool also have a replay because they drew to Gainsborough yesterday, so that's one good advantage. I hope it is shown on TV because I'm commentating, so I might even get my first paycheck if it's on the BBC. But no, I think it's
under 18. You can't have it.
Oh, you had to just ruin my dream, Mike. But no, I think it's really positive. I definitely think the maintenance team at Sutton are going to need a pay rise because we've got Farnham Tuesday, the FA Youth Cup on Wednesday, and then Hartlepool on Saturday. So 3 games at Gandergree Lane, which potentially promises to be a very good week. But no, I think really tomorrow, Tuesday, it could, depending on how the game goes, I think it could be a real big confidence boost for Sutton. If we go and win that game, let's say 2-3, 4-0, confidence going into Hartlepool, all of a sudden it's 3 games unbeaten, 3, 4, 5 goals. So really, it could really change the season, I think, on Tuesday.
Yep. I mean, I'm going to ask you this first, Finlay, because Andrew won't answer it without swearing until he's composed himself. There's already been some people moaning. Everything's the same. Yeah. No changes. This manager's not done anything different. Why are we doing this? Do you think that's fair or ridiculous, or how long before people have a right to do that? I think never. But how long do you think people should be saying the manager before they start moaning about things?
Well, Mike, luckily, I will not swear, despite you not knowing me that long, but I won't be swearing, so don't worry. I think it's ludicrous. He's come in a couple of weeks ago, with all due respect, he's not coming into an easy project. His players are demotivated, but I think there have been positives. I thought Braintree, we had chances, but at the end of the day, we defended well and we got a point away from home. 3 goals scored yesterday. So I think he's going to need time. No manager comes in and hits the ground running, unless you've got Saudi Arabia owners and you've got loads of money. But
even then, yeah, ain't gonna happen.
no, you know what? I think no, I really like Chris. I really like him, and obviously, what unfortunately Steve went through with some abuse and his family, you never want that to happen. So you don't want that to happen to Chris. But no, I think we're moving in a good direction. 2 unbeaten. So on to Tuesday, really.
Yep. And it wasn't that you wouldn't swear, it's that I felt Andrew probably would. But Andrew, you've had a few minutes to compose yourself, and I've seen your responses on some of the comments. That's why I said it. You get
Never swear on your podcast, Mike.
antsy.
Yeah, I'd agree with what Finlay said. Ludicrous would be a good word. Yeah, the guy needs time, doesn't he? New coach into a role. Yeah, you need that time on the training pitch to instill your ideas. Yeah, we've
Just
got.
to be clear, I'm not saying anyone's called for him. Just moaning about the same old problems.
Yeah, I've seen those comments.
Yeah.
Yesterday we had. I felt key starters not playing. Sims wasn't there. I think we've missed Alex Woodyard massively for the last 2 months. Our best centre back's not been playing, Alex Kirk. So, and then the 2 lads on international. I don't like using the excuse of players missing, but it's worth pointing out. But yeah, like Finlay says, 2 games unbeaten. It's to set a bit of a platform to build. And get a win on Tuesday. Hartlepool to sack their manager. So could we win there on next week? Yeah, who knows?
Saw that. So just going to go through a couple of little things that were sent to me. So 3-3 to a semi-professional team isn't great, but then again, Yeovil just lost at Hemel Hempstead. Hartlepool drew at Gainsborough, which you mentioned, Finlay. Solihull lost at Ebbsfleet, and Truro couldn't get past FC Tottenham. And 2 of those teams are above us on the National League. So it's kind of put it into perspective a little bit. The defence, obviously everyone's been going, it's terrible, blah, blah, blah. But in the 12-minute interview, he did massively big up the defence. He said they did really, really well at Braintree, so they've all got their spot. And I'm like, what did that mean everyone's feeling comfortable all of a sudden? So it's like, was the defence that bad, or was everyone's expectations raised by him bigging them up a little bit? I don't know. The channels, the fact it kept getting pumped down to the sort of left-hand, especially channel, and nothing happening, was that frustrating in the flesh as it was watching, Andrew?
Yeah, the goals we conceded was amateur defending. It was basic. It was a catalogue of errors for the first goal that shouldn't have happened on numerous counts. And like you said, the second goal, that should have been cleared by Mr. Phipps, I think. Sorry. And then the third goal was a good finish, actually, on a half volley, if I remember rightly. He's still got quite a bit of work to do when the ball's coming across the box. But I did have big question marks about the defending yesterday.
What about the attacking? When we're sort of sending it into their left back role constantly, and it not sort of working.
I think we were trying to diagonally pinpoint their left back, weren't we? Well, either side, because obviously Brandon down our left, but their left back, we were trying to attack their flanks. And for a time, their left back was kind of mopping everything up. During that second half was a bit frustrating. I think when we were 2-1 down, we were pressing, but we got there. Yeah, we got there in the end.
And lastly, Flair. I don't care if they ever become legal. I will hate them forever and ever. You are literally burning money and putting smoke into everyone's lungs. Your guys' views on the Flair. Well, Finlay, you would have seen it same as me on TV as it's sort of gone across. If they're going to do it, the time they did it was all right because we just got a 98th minute equaliser. But what's your views on Flair's, considering it's going to cost us money?
I'm glad I didn't have a microphone in my hand because I don't know what I would have said. But no, 98-minute equaliser. obviously adrenaline's flying through the roof, so you kind of understand. But no, I'm never really a massive fan on the flares. It always delays the game. It's an issue for the referee. But then saying that, you never know if we're winning on Tuesday. I might even chuck one from the gantry. So
No, you won't. You won't. They're illegal to bring to football.
I think that'll be never on the podcast again if I ever did that. But
Andrew, what's your thoughts on them?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the two big negatives. Cost. It's obviously going to cost us money. We're not learning because it's not the first time, and probably won't be the last time that it happens. And yeah, obviously inhaling those fumes can't be good. There's a bit. I don't know why they're so big on the continent though. Like pyrotechnics, it's free game on the continent. Everyone
Yeah.
does it.
So there's different types, I believe, and some are more incendiary than others. One thing I just will always disagree with is clubs in the UK should not glamorise it, because even if we had the nice ones that people were allowed, if you get up in the morning with a flare and go to a football match, you could be arrested outside your front door because you've intended to go to a football match with one. And yet clubs always, when it happens, they love having these pictures of the smoke going across the fans. And it's like, don't glamorise it, because it's the same as putting up pictures of people fighting. You can't do this. But yeah, in the continent there are different ones. There was a massive display at Dundalk the other day. Literally it was like the Collingwood side, the fans all squeezed in there and just almost like fireworks going off. And I'm like, oh my God, I would freak out. I can't stand this. But yeah, they are slightly different, I believe.
Okay.
And obviously we're all very, very, very probably over health and safety on it because of the whole Bradford fire incident, which wasn't caused by flare, but it's obviously we have all these rules in place. But I'm all for them because I can't stand them. They stink as well. But anyway, let's go again. So Finlay, they mentioned several times on the commentary, I don't know if you picked up, that Farnham only train on a Wednesday. It might have been mentioned about 1,000 times. Do you think that's going to play into our hands? Because obviously we've got a day's training tomorrow, and they don't have any training to prepare. And do you think that's going to factor into it? Do you think the professional is going to factor into it? But obviously they do play Saturday, Tuesday anyway. But do you think that's gonna help us?
100%. I think kind of without the ball being kicked, that's already an advantage. Maybe their bosses will let them have a day off work. Maybe they can stop being an electrician and they can have an extra training session. But no, it definitely plays into our hands. And you could see, I think around the 80-minute mark, 3 or 4 of those players were going down with cramp. So definitely fitness-wise, we have an advantage and we've got the pace to do it. So maybe the key is taking it to extra time. And they'll be on the floor and we'll just walk through. But no, at the end of the day, Farnham, their adrenaline will still be absolutely buzzing, and the money for them as well, an away tie. So
yeah, I mean, they're going to have a sense of not just disappointment, which Andrew said earlier, but they may have a sense of injustice. But then one of their guys was down for cramp for sort of 2 of the 6 minutes, and that's why it was added on at the end.
I didn't quite agree with what their manager said about Sutton won't get any better in 3 or 4 days, but we will. So that's quite a statement to say.
We'll see. Maybe we need to print it off and put it on our dressing room, like Ipswich did with Solihull. Andrew, what do you think? Do you think training is going to come into it? Do you think the professionalism is going to come into it now with the quick turnaround?
Should do, physiologically, psychologically, and I actually think the adrenaline factor. They would have been so pumped up yesterday. Their big game at home, biggest game in their history, they were calling it. And then having the hopes dashed with our last-minute equaliser, I surely got to, sting a bit. So I think, we've got to, just go out, be professional, hope the chances come, which I'm sure they will, and just take them. But I do think, fitness will probably play a part. They would have done a lot of running yesterday, especially in the first half when we had a lot of the ball, a lot of chasing. So, the quick turnaround of the games. I know you said they're used to Saturday, Tuesday anyway, but against a team 2 divisions higher, it's gonna you'd imagine take its toll somewhere through that second half to sustain their levels. I can't see it.
And I mean, it wasn't just the biggest game in their history, and that's not been us being or we your cup final. It's the furthest they've ever got, and I believe it was a sellout and a record attendance for them as well, which is even more than Crouchy a few weeks ago. So that's great for us. Would you mix it up a little bit, Andrew, or would you kind of just go again as we were, similar formation, similar personnel?
I think presumably we're going to have a similar squad available. It was my first viewing of Boatin, or Buta, the lad from Bournemouth. I thought he was really quite bright when he came on down the left. So maybe put him in at left wing back. But presumably you're not going to have any of the injured players back or the two lads on international duty. So it's going to be the same squad of players to
David
choose
went
from.
off as well, so you never know whether David's going to start or not. But we'll see. Finlay, what about yourself? Go again, mix it up.
I think, like Andrew, definitely start either Vincent or Booten to have that solid left cover. I put Mo in there as well. I know he came on. I just think his pace, his energy could be a turning point in the game. But other than that, we haven't got players to really choose from with Kane and Dylan still out. Wouldn't put Phipps up front. Definitely wouldn't do that. But no, I think we'll make some changes. I'm sure we will, because I think Chris said that 3 players came off with cramp at the end of the game. So I'm sure he'll assess their situations.
And 2 players not mentioned. Can't really understand why I didn't bring him up earlier, but very quick word for love for Jayden. Kept running, little Duracell bunnies, getting a little bit back to how he was. Finlay, you go first.
Yeah, I thought he was great yesterday. Obviously, got the equaliser, which I actually thought went wide because it kind of bounced out of the goal. And for a minute, I thought it was like the backboards. And I'm thinking, oh, what a miss. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, never mind, we've equalised. But even his strength as well, I think, to play it off to Ogbonna, to put it to Njuku, he was brilliant yesterday. And definitely, Mike, he's getting back to his old self.
There was one of the replays I watched again, and literally he bounced one of their players off of him. The guy kind of went shoulder to shoulder with him, and he kind of just rebounded in about another 3 yards. Andrew, quick word on Jayden.
Yeah, I thought he had a pretty solid game. He's someone that sometimes I think he tries too hard. I have in my mind, but his contributions to the goals were great. Never gave up, kept going, and then the energy to get into the box to score the equaliser at 90+8. Got to hand it to him. And like you said, the strength to brush off the defenders for the second goal as well. He contributed well yesterday.
And other quick word, David Isaiah came in with like a few minutes to prepare against Yeovil. Against Yeovil, the goals he conceded were a deflection and a penalty, or a penalty and a deflection. I can't remember which way around. Braintree, clean sheet. Yesterday, 3 goals conceded, but I'm not sure finger of blame could be pointed at him for all of them. How do you think he's coming in for Jack Sims? Obviously, you mentioned as well, Jack's out. We don't know how long it's for, but I think he's done superbly. Andrew?
Yeah, I like him. He seemed quite comfortable with the ball at his feet yesterday. They kept passing back to him, etc. Like yourself, I don't think really at blame for any of their goals. He made a very, very good save shortly after their first goal, and I think he's made a very good save after they went 3-2 up as well. That kind of kept us in the tie, obviously, at that point. Pretty sure it were 2 very smart saves. Or 2-1 up, was it? 2-1 up, was it? But no, looks good. Hasn't let us down. So presumably gets the shirt on Tuesday night again. So yeah.
And Finlay, yourself?
I
mean, one thing I really liked was the fact that one of the goals went in, he just turned around as a young guy and started screaming at his defence. But Finlay, what do you think?
No, I love David ever since he joined the club. I remember his debut against Wimbledon in the pre-season. Wimbledon could have gone and won that game 3 or 4-2. I think he made 3 or 4 outstanding saves. He's a great guy, and it's always going to be difficult to get a consistent run of games when you're second to Jack Sims. But no, as Andrew said, it could have been 2-0 before we even created one of our own. Again, when Phipps gave the ball away early on in the second half, it was another great save. So yeah, I was really pleased with David yesterday. And hopefully he'll get a clean sheet on Tuesday just to get his confidence that little bit higher. But no, I'm really pleased with him.
Excellent. Well, I know you do the prediction league, so just to let you know, I'm going to ask you for a prediction, but you can change your mind. All right. So when you enter, you just put you can change your mind. So what is your early prediction for Tuesday night?
I thought I was good at predictions because I said we'd win 3-0 at the weekend, but that completely went out the window. I did get 3. But I wasn't expecting Phipps to score first. I think, as everything we've mentioned, fitness-wise, home advantage, we won't have the flares, but we'll have the drum, which is much better than the flare. I think we'll win 2-0.
2-0.
Clean sheet, a couple of goals.
Andrew,
I was going to say exactly the same. 2-0 Sutton.
Excellent.
So that's what I'm going to stick with.
Excellent. Well, I've gone 1-0 with Nadders to score. Whether that's off the bench or from the start, I don't know, but I've gone for 1-0. Gemini has gone for 2-1 and Jaden to score. And I've got to say fair play to Andy Rudge because he's the only one that's keeping Gemini off top spot at the moment because I don't know how AI, who doesn't know who's playing for us half the time, can get at least far ahead, but everyone needs to up their game a little bit. But anyway, that wraps up this episode of Sutton Podcast. As always, we appreciate everyone's attention and feedback. Get involved. Follow, like, share at Sutton Podcast on your social medias. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you'd like to hear. Let us know what you thought of the players chat the other day. Andrew will tell you I had like an hour before recording. I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to ask them. I got through it, I think. Big thank you to Lucky Star Gin and our guests today, Andrew and Finlay. Well done on your debut, Finlay. And thanks to you listeners. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of Sutton Podcast. Take care and we'll catch up soon. Bye-bye. United!